liked how I could come home each day from Western and take a break from my only experience of the real world. I was safe, my family was safe, and that was all that mattered. However, when Lynden had its first COVID case in March, my little bubble shattered. We weren't any safer than anywhere else, and I realized that we never had been. And when the protests began across the country at the end of May, I realized that there never should have been a bubble. I was sitting on my couch, as I had been for the past 2 months of lockdown, reading not for the first time about the injustices of the world, but seeing them for the first time as things that impact my life, as things I should have cared about this whole time, as things that should have broken my heart long ago. This realization is what drove me out onto the side of the street by myself with a tiny cardboard sign. I had to pop the bubble I had once cherished because I realized how unfair it had been for me to ignore the outside world and its effects that I had been blind to due to my privilege. And it didn't take long to realize how toxic this bubble is. That first week I was alone. Many people stopped by to offer support, but there was also many people who saw my presence as a threat. I was cursed at, flipped off, told to get out of Lynden. I had never seen such anger in the eyes of strangers being directed at me. All I was doing was spreading awareness, simply asking for people to take notice of the issues. All I wanted was for people to care about those who are hurting. It made me sick to see such hatred in the place that I had grown up, a place that I had always felt safe, knowing that this is not even a fraction of what BIPOC people face every day just for being themselves. This is why I've been out there nearly every day since. I'm joined by others who saw me and also said enough, by people who've been afraid to do the same on their own, or by those who felt they couldn't speak up in a place they also call home. We've built our own community within the movement, one where we look out for each other and help each other. We strive to make change here, to diversify education and expand inclusion. We want everyone to feel safe and cared for. We simply ask that people take a moment to listen and to learn. I will never understand what it's like to live as a BIPOC person in this country or even in this town. I will never understand the discrimination you face daily, nor how oppression has impacted you and your families for centuries. I will never understand, but I have done my best to listen and to be better. I have learned, I've been compassionate, I continue to educate myself and inform others. This is my town, and it's my home. I live here. I've always lived here. Same with this country. This is my home, and I love it. And when you truly love something, you want it to be the best version of itself. And that's what I want for Lynden. I regularly hold a sign that says, "Be kind," because I truly believe that as people living on this earth, all we would have to do to fix our problems is to be kind to each other. And being kind isn't passive. It's not submissive. It's an action, one that requires persistence and determination. It requires a lot of hard work. If we all took the time to do something, to actively listen and earn, to willingly grow and become better, we could foster the change we so desperately need. There is no right or wrong here, like many people believe or attempt to claim. There is support and there is suppression. There is the truth and there are lies. This is about human rights, just as it always has been. It's about treating our fellow humans with respect and with dignity. It's about taking care of each other. What it most often comes down to is the people who hold so desperately to the status quo because they're afraid of change or of losing their privilege, whether they realize it or not. So they remain still and let that fear close them off to change. But we can't afford to be afraid. We can't afford to accept how things are just because they've always been that way. We must not let anyone else in this town benefit from blissful ignorance, disguising itself as peace at the cost of others' freedoms.
Yes.
I used to be afraid of change because I thought this town was peaceful and I didn't want to lose that. I found sanctuary in that belief. But what we have in Lynden isn't peace, it's denial. It's a violent silence.
Yes.
There's a darkness that's been allowed to thrive under a guise of peace. So, we must be a spark in that darkness, amplifying the voices of the silence, standing up for the rights of those who have been oppressed, feeding the righteous fire of justice and equality until it finally consumes this town and this country.
Yes.
Our differences do not need to separate us or be the cause of fear. I believe we can be better. We only need to open ourselves to the possibility. Thank you.